Broadcasting stars today. Broadcasting live from the campus of Syracuse University. This is Newhouse Afternoon.
Newhouse Afternoon. Jacob K. Josh Rajanoff, Dan Pillow with you on QSportsTalk.com, ESPN 97.7. You can give us a call at 315-437-7644 at 2:30 today. We have a special guest joining us, John Buck, who is the coach of the one and only Kyan Anthony. Will be joining us live on the line at 2:30, which should be a fun interview. We'll talk to John about how he sees Kyan and how Kyan will fit in the Syracuse basketball world. But first, we'll talk about the now, which is Cuse basketball. With Cuse basketball, they just got back from the West Coast. A fine trip. I mean, it started off. I mean, the first 5 minutes of the game. It was horrible.
It's our first show in a while. Can I start us off with a Jacob K stat?
Shoot.
Syracuse is just the second ACC team to go beat Cal in Berkeley this year.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, because I know Stanford was 4-0, now they're 5-0.
Mm-hmm.
No ACC team has lost to them.
All these teams going out to the West Coast, they really struggle with it, it seems like.
How much can you call it an excuse? I mean, how much can you call the time difference an excuse, considering that you got there on Monday?
I don't think it's an excuse.
I wouldn't say that. It's definitely not an excuse to not score 7.5 minutes into a game.
Here's the thing, though. You got to watch the documentaries on YouTube of the NFL teams, like the behind the scenes, like how they prepare for the players for like London. Like it actually is
yeah, that's London. That's a 6-hour time difference.
It's a 6-hour flight from the East Coast to the West Coast.
It's not about the flight. They got there on Monday. The game was on Wednesday.
Yeah,
but it's enough
time to. Have you been to the West Coast?
I have.
You have.
Going back in
how did you feel that you fared with the time difference?
I mean, like maybe the first.
Did it take you a little bit to
two.
adjust?
Sure.
Why
not?
But I don't know. I would say that it's not an excuse. Every team. I mean, look at the football team. They're 4-0 on the West Coast this year.
That's a fair point.
It's not an excuse to not score.
They also have a week to prepare for those games.
Yeah, that's fair. They had a few days. I don't know.
So I have a little stat for you here.
Ooh.
So we're 2-3 in our last 5, Syracuse. So one thing this season that Syracuse basketball has been horrible at, and I firmly believe in basketball, there are ways to win, but the one way to really win is if you shoot the three well, like Duke does, which we'll see Wednesday. That's how you win games. Believe it or not, I saw this last night. I was flabbergasted.
Ooh.
Flabbergasted.
All right.
Syracuse last 5 games they're shooting 39.3% from 3. How about that?
Yeah.
99th percentile.
I wouldn't say that, winning is only a 3-point shooting.
No, of course not, but it's if you don't shoot threes, it's a
I mean,
Syracuse won against Cal only shooting 16 threes.
I was going to say, because you've seen Adrian Autry this season try to mix things up, especially with the 3-ball. That game against Pitt 2 weeks ago, he shot 32 threes in that game, which was a season high, and that is ridiculously high. They only made 11 of them. But after that game, he was asked, why are you shooting all these threes? And he said, you got to shoot threes to win in the ACC. So I feel like it's kind of interesting to see where that mentality, where you got to find that perfect balance. You said 16 threes. That's pretty good, right? That's about average.
And they went 8 of 16.
The average attempted per game I looked last night is 22.
All right, so that's fair. But I think you have to have that balance.
Against Cal, Syracuse, night and day, Stanford versus Cal, and even the Pitt game too. You mentioned 32 threes against Pitt, 16 against Cal. But what Syracuse did on Saturday night against Cal, 30 points in the paint. I mean, they dominated down low compared to 20 for Cal. They got the ball down low a little bit. They drove inside more, and they got to the free throw line. They had 20 free throw attempts. That's how you win basketball games. And whenever you drive more, that collides the defense, then those kickouts become more available, more open shots. That's whenever the 3-ball starts working. I actually like not shooting more threes, especially with the way that basketball has gone in general, because it clearly worked for Syracuse against Cal.
Yeah, 100%. And I like that. I also like one thing that really stood out to me from this game was Syracuse's defense. Now, you can be the judge if this was good Syracuse or bad Cal.
Yeah.
But Syracuse held Cal to 29% from the field. That's one of the best marks that they've had all season.
17% from 3, too. I mean, how much of it was Andrei Stojakovic didn't play? Cal was a little thin, but I would say this game on Saturday was actually Syracuse's best game of the season.
It's not a fair point. I think it's a fair take.
I mean, you think all year we've kind of talked about how can Syracuse stay consistent? Can they play the full 40 minutes? Adrian Autry talks a lot about these 4-minute increments. Can they not get off to slow starts like how they did against Stanford? They didn't do that against Cal. They went up 9-0 to start, and Syracuse led the entire game. Cal come back into the game. That's how you start games. That's how you get ahead and stay ahead, what Adrian Autry talks about all the time. And then you're right, the 2-3 zone, the defense was working. It was causing Cal fits. You mentioned it. Under 30% shooting, 17% from 3. The 2-3 zone was really, really working. I wonder if we're going to see more of that against Duke.
Wow, I wonder, could you imagine a Syracuse team running a 2-3 zone?
No,
never heard of it, right?
Yeah, I've never seen that before, right?
No, I don't think so.
Really.
It worked.
So a little interesting thing I saw this morning, too. Syracuse, this is their third game Saturday when shooting 50 or better from 3%, 50 or better. They're 1-2 in those games this year. Everyone else in the ACC is either 500 or better in those such games.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense.
Which is interesting.
You have to also weight it. I mean, only 8 threes compared. I mean, you mentioned it. Syracuse shot 32 threes against Pitt, and they made 11 of them. They only made 3 more than what they did against Cal.
Law of probability, right?
Yeah, you shoot less threes. I mean, you're gonna, I guess, make more. Or it just depends. Sometimes you'll make more of them. Sometimes you don't. I think it's less about the 3-point shooting, and I think it is more about just. I want to break down the 2-3 zone a little bit more because I am curious if it'll work against Duke. It works whenever teams don't shoot the ball well. Duke shoots 37% from 3. But I remember last year watching the UNC game, I thought it gave UNC fits a little bit. And especially whenever you have teams that have NBA talent that are, more pro style like Duke, like UNC last year. Whenever you play 2-3 zone against them, it kind of does give them a little bit more fits. And I'm not saying that that's what Syracuse should do in the game plan, but I'm saying maybe if you play the 2-3 zone again, it'll give Duke some fits. It'll make him start slow or something like that, just to anything get Duke off its rhythm.
I mean,
early.
I would say maybe they wouldn't see it coming, but I would assume it's in the game plan if they used it against Cal. But the 2-3 zone is one of those things that in a modern basketball doesn't work as effectively because now it seems like everybody can shoot. The 2-3 zone was really effective when you only had 1 or 2 real sharpshooters in a lineup at one time. But now that everybody can knock down an open 3, because that's just kind of where the game of basketball has moved, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to use it all the time.
You know what it does do, though? It clogs the lane. And I don't want Cooper Flagg in the paint at all.
That's a fair point.
If you're gonna beat Duke, get Flagg outside of the 3-point line. Keep him away from the paint. Keep him away from the basket. Don't even let him touch the ball. I mean, play deny on him. If you're going to beat Duke, make someone else beat you because Cooper Flagg is all world, all talent. Keep him out of the paint. I wouldn't mind starting with a 2-3 zone. If they beat you shooting the ball, I think you can live with that. What you can't live with is Cooper Flagg beating you. You're going to have to make someone else think Cooper Flagg beat you.
So I look at this website. It shows me your percentiles for college basketball.
Okay.
And the choose for the high number, it's for the green, and for a low number, it's red. Makes sense. I'm going to turn this around to the camera. You guys can see quickly. This is Duke for a second. Hopefully the camera can see. Probably not.
You can't see it. It's just a lot of green.
Whatever.
A lot of green.
There's all green to the point where I'm trying to see, where's there a weakness that Syracuse can, poke at here? There's none.
There isn't.
Duke, when they shoot a lot of threes, when they outshoot their opponent in 3 points made, they're 15-1.
I mean, they're also 19-2, so I can't really say that's super crazy statement.
True.
And we're back with the Jacob K stats.
When how about this? Syracuse, when we have more net total rebounds than the team, we're 9-3. Duke is 16-1.
Yeah, I mean, rebounding is going to be a big thing, and that's something that Coach Autry talks about all the time. I mean, just Eddie Lampkin being big down low, Jared Davis, all these bigs, you're going to have to be big down low. Syracuse out-rebounded Cal 42-37, and that was a big whenever you clear out possessions. Syracuse, I feel like this season, has actually had a few really good half-court defensive stretches, but then sometimes you just can't finish it because you don't get the rebound. It was a very similar story last year, but you know what they did against UNC? They got the rebounds. They kept Baycott out, and they were able to get the rebounds and make the plays that they needed and finish the defensive possessions. That's what it's going to take against Duke. You're going to have to pitch a perfect game, honestly.
Of course. I got a stat for you, Jacob, that kind of simplifies the one that you just said.
Pause quickly. One person that can't pitch a perfect game and is Carlos Carrasco.
Oh.
That was my hit for the day. Carlos Carrasco, you stink. Yankees dumpster diving. Dan.
Well, you were talking about rebounding. Simplifying your stat. When Syracuse wins the rebound battle this season, they're 8-4. When they lose, 1-8.
No, they're 9-3. The net rebounding.
Okay.
Whatever it is, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They win. They win.
There is a disparity there.
They win.
100%. You got to win the rebound battle to win the game. That's why you brought in Eddie Lampkin. Win the rebound battle.
Yes, so Ken Palm predicts Syracuse will lose to Duke 80-63. That's the prediction.
I don't hate that. Do we have lines yet? Because
I
was having a lot of internal debate with some other people around here about
Syracuse
what we
could
think
cover.
that Syracuse's, what the opening line will be, and if it will be over or under 20 points.
Over.
You think so?
Really?
Yep.
I mean, Duke
Let's
is the
look.
number 2 team in the country.
I think I would
hasn't
put
been.
it at like 17 and a half, 18.
What are the
and
odds Donnie Freeman plays?
a half. Well, he's day to day. We don't know.
He stayed. I mean, yeah, but if he does play, I think it ups your chances a little bit.
Yeah, definitely does.
But I don't know.
Who knows at this
Who
point?
knows if he's playing? I will. Yeah, you're gonna have to pitch a perfect game against Duke. I mean, you can't have the same mistakes that you've had, all season, especially with the turnovers. Even in the Cal game, where I just said that I thought it was the, best game that Syracuse played all year. In the Cal game, you still turned the ball over 13 times. That can't happen. It led to 18 points. And then you fouled Cal way too often. There were 21 fouls called against Syracuse on Saturday night that led to 30 free throw attempts. Can't happen.
I do want to point something out about this game. And our good friend Brent Axe posted this on Twitter earlier today. He always does this for every big game, I would say, especially football season. He'll post the ticket map. And there is a lot of blue on the ticket map. Tickets still available for this game on Wednesday. And you can get in for as low as $3. In what world? What have we come to that we
Go see
can't even
Cooper
pack
Flag.
the dome for Syracuse Duke anymore?
Here's the thing. I think people have, with tickets, the whole ticketing market is a disaster today with anything, with any event. I think people have gone to the idea of like, oh, I can go to this game. I don't need to buy a ticket yet until a few minutes before the game. Because there's going to be seats available. Why am I going to buy it now if I can save more money?
It's fair, but not even the lower bowl is full. That's like unheard of.
I mean, it's Wednesday on ESPN2. That's not
But
the Duke game was in the past. It's been on a weekend. It's been a Saturday night. It's been a big.
That is interesting. The
So,
scheduling.
it's
Still
not-
the Duke game,
Usually it
you
is
know what
on
I
a
mean?
Saturday.
But it's an event, and now it's not. It's kind of.
You don't
went
think
down.
it's an event anymore?
Well, it's just
Well,
it's on a Wednesday.
I think
so.
overall, a Syracuse basketball game isn't really an event anymore. It's
mean,
just kind of the
yeah.
state of the program right now. Whenever you're sending a team out there that's really not that great, not a lot to get excited about. I mean, and we're even saying that the line will probably open up at minus 20 in favor of Duke.
It's not open yet, by the way.
It's not open yet.
Yeah.
I mean, Syracuse, it's kind of like what Fran Brown said. I remember hearing him say it in a press conference. You have to earn the right to, have the dome packed. You have to earn to get, those great environments. And why would Syracuse fans, despite not even knowing what's going to happen in the game yet, want to come and watch, Duke kill Syracuse is what the main prediction is. I know that I would be very excited to go to the game, but why would Syracuse fans feel excited if this team doesn't really have a lot to be excited about?
Yeah, no, great question. We're going to take a quick break right now on Newhouse Afternoon. Coming up, we're going to talk to John Buck at 2:30, head coach of the Long Island Lutheran High School, who is the coach of Kyan Anthony, son of Carmelo Anthony, who's going to be here next year to hopefully turn things around. We're going to talk some Super Bowl and also the trade and the sports move that turned the world upside down. I mean, I felt it when it happened.
Turned Josh's world upside
It turned
down.
Josh, like Josh was hanging from his legs, like just all of a sudden, like he just turned around. Like it was bad. Things were really bad. Well, the talk though, I'm gonna do a little trivia during the break actually with these two fellas on QSportsTalk.com. We're gonna take a quick break now on Q Sports Talk on Newhouse Afternoon, QSportsTalk.com.
Got it.
Today is the day we can't talk. I realized, I woke up this morning and I realized today's going to be one of those days. And ESPN 97.7, this is Newhouse Afternoon. We'll see you back in a few. The party continues on QSportsTalk.com.
Did anyone else notice me sink lower?
I noticed
Yes.
it. Trivia. Jordan, I'm going to have them two guess the thing I asked you and Tim last week now.
Oh, boy. It's going to be Yankee related?
No, not at all.
I'll be
I
right
know.
back.
They're not going to get it. Dan won't get it. Josh won't get it. But
I'm willing to try.
I'm excited. So Sports Reference came out with a most viewed player in each state of 2024
Okay.
for college basketball and college football. Do you want to guess who was the most viewed player and school in the state of New York in 2024? We'll do football first or basketball. You could do either or. The choice is yours. In the state of New York.
College football in New York. Can I ask, is it a notable player?
Yes.
I'm trying to think like draft-wise, especially like, the Giants and the Jets, trying to figure out like who they'd want to draft. I'm going to guess Cam Ward.
No. Josh?
Wait, can I ask? Can I get the question?
Yeah. The most viewed college player on College Football Reference in the state of New York in 2024.
State of New York. Arch Manning.
No.
I don't know.
Jake Retzlaff.
No.
Common
So
Cord.
I'll give you this. Jaden Daniels.
Wait,
For college football?
Yes.
this year?
2024.
Oh, because yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, school. You want to guess the school? It's not Syracuse.
Wait, now I'm lost.
It's hard. So
Wait.
the most viewed college football player reference page.
In 2024.
Yes.
Okay.
And now we're on to school for football.
I don't know. Colorado?
No. You're actually kind of close.
Geographically or like
The
college football?
The mindset. You're close.
So teams with a lot of buzz. BYU, Arizona State.
Nope.
There's a lot of buzz. I mean,
USC?
Is it Ohio
No.
State?
No, you're close.
In terms of what? Am I close? Like 20 years?
You're close.
Michigan?
Yeah, Michigan.
All right.
Basketball. The player.
This
Yes.
is what-
Give her
where I-
flag.
No.
So, who went number 1 overall this year?
Alex Sarr. He's from.
France. Yeah, that doesn't
Yeah.
help. Were there any?
Is it Edgecombe? VJ Edgecombe?
No.
By the way, also coached by John Buck. I wrote a question about it.
How about that? It's not. It's a player. You're never gonna guess it.
All right, then just tell us.
Bronny.
Yes, Bronny.
Let's go.
Bam. And the school?
USC?
No. Starts with a U, but
Well, yeah, that's okay. Who won? I was gonna say NC
U of A?
State.
no.
Who won the Natty this year?
This past year?
Like, yeah,
Am I tripping?
I don't know.
Wait, who did win the Natty?
I'm not the biggest college basketball guy. I mean,
Are we non-ball knowers? Who won the national?
who won the 2024 Natty?
UConn?
Yeah.
It's UConn. This is why I say the party did continue. And,
This is why we're not on the air.
This is why we're not on the air, because
Now, if we are on the air, we know that UConn won the last two.
Bronny. It's crazy. What about professional? Who's the most viewed?
we'll do that next break.
Okay, sure.
I will look, and I will get that. We'll do that next break before Coach joins us.
So we're doing Super Bowl.
If you guys have any questions, by the way, in the chat, feel free to
course.
ask us. I am a Mavs fan, so if you want to check in on my well-being,
This
it's
guy
not good.
is rattled.
It's really not good. But
Do you have a Luka jersey?
I have like 5.
Like here with you?
No, not here with me.
I was gonna say that would have been kind of funny.
Oh, I should have worn it actually. That would have been funny. No, I left my Luka jersey at home because I figured the next time I would need it, because I rarely wear basketball jerseys here. I figured the next time I need it would be to go to a Mavs game to hopefully go watch Luka.
Well,
April 9th, he returns to the
hello,
American.
darkness, my old friend.
They're singing to me. Horrible.
Watch your favorite ESPN Syracuse sports talk shows on QSportsTalk.com. Tomorrow's broadcasting stars today. Broadcasting live from the campus of Syracuse University. This is Newhouse Afternoon.
Newhouse Afternoon, Jacob K., Josh Rajanoff, Dan Papilla with you on QSportsTalk.com, ESPN 97.7. It's the Super Bowl week, officially Super Bowl week. The Super Bowl the whole world is looking forward to.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, why wouldn't we be? It's the matchup we wanted all to see.
I want to stop right there, okay? I know, like, it's a repeat of 2 years ago, right? It's still the Super Bowl, and it's still two of the best teams in the league. Like, why are people so annoyed that it's Chiefs and Eagles in the Super Bowl?
So we're annoyed because we're Cowboys fans. But with that being said, it's still going to be a really good Super Bowl, in my opinion. I'm actually pretty excited for it. I mean, I am a Cowboys fan, but I do like watching Saquon. I think watching him, it's great for the sport because it's great that running backs are kind of taking over to where they once were. I think that's really important. And then I've always been an appreciate greatness type of guy. even in the Brady era, I was like, all right, let's appreciate this while it lasts. And I like to watch Mahomes for as long as we can because it's pretty rare we get to see someone as generational as him.
You see, as a Jet fan, I hated watching Brady.
Yeah, sure. So it's like watching the Eagles play in the Super Bowl for me. I hate it. I will be avidly cheering for the Chiefs.
The Eagles are so annoying, the fans. Dan, who's your pick first?
Who do I think is going to win the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Early.
Can't pick against the Chiefs, although I'm going to be rooting for the Eagles.
Okay, so I asked you that because I want to bring up this. I think the Chiefs too, because you can never bet against Mahomes, and if you do, you need to go get your head examined. Mahomes is 8-0 straight up, or as an underdog, or favored by less than 3 points in the playoffs. This guy, listen to this. He's trailed in the fourth quarter or overtime in 9 playoff games.
Yeah.
He's won 6 of them.
I think it goes to show how good they are because the Chiefs can literally beat you in any way. They can beat you in every type of game.
Can I give you one way the Eagles actually have a really good upper edge right here? This is like a Jacob K, the ultimate Jacob K stat
of the day. Make sure the rhyme's there.
Opposing team success rate with 1 yard to go. How about this? Dan, I said
every team is good with 1 yard to go.
Not as good as the Eagles, though.
KC, 76% they allow. So that's, for the tush push, that is no bueno. And the Eagles that's the 4th worst, by the way.
Okay.
Josh doesn't like this.
No, but it's kind of the Eagles are going to tush push anyways and be successful anyways. That's not going to be the difference in the game.
That's what I'm saying.
For the Bills, it was.
For sure, for the Bills, you could make that argument, but that's what I'm saying. It's like for the Bills, it was the Chiefs were able to get that stop. Not saying that they're going to be able to get that stop in against the Eagles, but the Bills were still, they still had to drive, get either a field goal. They still had to make the field goal kick, which is questionable for the Bills sometimes, or score a touchdown. Plus, the Chiefs still had plenty of time on the clock. That's why I'm saying that the Chiefs can beat you in many different ways. They can beat you with Mahomes just being better than your team. They can beat you with their defense that's year in, year out, one of the better defenses in the league. They can beat you on special teams. We saw it many different times this year. When everyone was rolling around talking about how the Chiefs kind of got lucky this year because they blocked the field goal kicker, maybe the toe was out of bounds for
blocking
Isaiah
a field
Likely.
goal to win a game is not luck, by the way.
Yeah, it's good special teams coach. This Chiefs team is so well put together and so well coached, from Andy Reid to Steve Spagnuolo and everyone on that staff. That's what makes them so hard to beat. It's not devil magic. It's not luck. It's that they legitimately can beat you in any way on a football field.
And someone who can't beat Mahomes is Vic Fangio, who's 0-8 against him.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, those Broncos teams were just brutal.
Vic Fangio defense. Mahomes is 10 touchdowns, 2 picks. So that's something to be aware of. By the way, if you're into the betting trends or all that kind of stuff, Action Network has a great article written by Evan Abrams. I recommend it. Couldn't recommend it more. It's just a fun way of just getting nuggets and stuff like that. Stuff that I like to eat. I love those nuggets. I mean, how could you not? How could you not love the nuggets?
Well, it's a 20 count from Mickey D's.
So, let's do a little. So we'll take a break in a minute, but coming up after the break, though, we're gonna have John Buck joining us, the head coach of Long Island Lutheran High School, who coaches Kyan Anthony. What are the big, I guess, questions that we have? The big ideas that we wanted that John that we sort of think about, what's
Well, my biggest one that I'm very curious to ask him about is kind of the balance, making sure that Kyan is not only, while he's traveling the country, touring all these schools and being this big name in the media and stuff like that in terms of a basketball prospect, how are you balancing him just being a typical basketball player and also a student? You don't even realize these guys are still in high school. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm curious to hear how you kind of coach a guy like Kyan, whose dad is obviously Carmelo Anthony, and we'll talk to him about it. So I'm curious to hear, what he does kind of differently or how he keeps it the same with Kyan.
So for me, it's about the pressure. I wonder, Kyan, there's so many aspects of pressure that's just, like a magnifying glass. You have Syracuse bigger crowd. You have the tournament drought, which I know coach doesn't care about, but the idea of it's a thing here for people to care about, the Syracuse fans. You have his last name, the name, comparisons to his father, all this stuff. all piped up. It's a lot of pressure on the guy.
100%.
Yeah.
So, speaking of that, we're going to take a quick break here on Newhouse Afternoon. After the break, Coach John Buck will join us. The fun continues. Another little fun trivia here on QSportsTalk.com. So you want to tune in there. And if not, we'll see you on the other side on ESPN 97.7.
Having Canty and Michelle.
And if you guys are watching at home,
Yes, I gave it
and
to him.
want
I emailed it.
to ask a question, feel free to send a question into the chat.
Please feel free to ask a question.
So you want to guess
How
what
come you
sport?
can see the chat? I can't.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Which sport do you want to guess?
I was gonna make a, circle it back to your wings, your Nuggets comment.
Yeah.
On Super Bowl Sunday, are you not ordering wings? Instead, you order chicken nuggets.
So, I have a story for you.
Oh boy.
So yesterday, first semester, we did a lot of great things. There are things in my back pocket I didn't reveal to you guys.
Like legal paper?
Sure. There are some things that I didn't reveal to you guys that are that caused some chaos last year.
Are you a master chef?
Maybe the other. So, first of all, have you guys ever cut a honeydew before?
What?
Cut a honeydew before?
I have not.
No.
I can never cut it straight.
Okay.
It's just a disaster. But last night I was making bacon. I mean, I faced so much adversity doing that. So, first of all, turkey bacon. Don't recommend it. Didn't like it. It was
I eat
god
turkey
awful.
bacon.
Well, I don't know.
It was pretty feeble. I mean, it was feeble.
It was feeble.
It was feeble.
I don't have regular bacon.
So here's what I did.
It's all good.
I put it in the pan, whatever. Boom, boom, boom. Put the tin foil. I opened up the pack. Obviously, put the bacon on the pan. Put the tin foil back on. The raw bacon falls all over the floor. I had the pan.
Not raw bacon on the floor.
the pan steaming.
Oh, no.
Smoke It was just.
She set off the fire alarm in Watson yesterday.
No,
Come on.
That was not me. But yeah, that was the story with that. So that was my
Floor
bacon.
did smell like burnt popcorn.
Is that the word around the street?
I mean, I smelt it on my way out of the building.
All right.
Quick NFL most viewed player in New York.
In New York?
Yes. 2024.
Saquon Barkley.
No.
Mahomes.
No.
Josh Allen.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Most viewed team.
Bills.
Yeah. And this is so easy.
Give us like a random state, like middle of nowhere.
Ooh.
That doesn't have a football team.
So I'm not going to be able to. So
I can see the list. Half of them
Yeah.
are Chiefs, dude. And the rest are Mahomes.
let's do another sport. let's do baseball.
Cookie Carrasco.
It's gonna be Ohtani almost anywhere.
Yeah, baseball's boring. Yeah, I mean you're not going to. Most viewed team in Florida.
Can I see the chat? I don't know why I can't see it.
I haven't missed much. Barry Monkey 99 said to Jacob, "Has your flabber never been so gasted?"
Never. Never. My flabber's never been more gasted. Ever.
I just got a text from one of my friends who sent me the Luca story about the buying the house and said, every new story that comes out is like Luca donated $100 million to an orphanage in Dallas hours before finding out he was traded.
Because he loved Dallas, dude. That's what I was trying to tell. Like, this is so different. Like, it's not just...
Well, I'm going to say this later. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say this in our class later, Dan, too. Sports news is unique because unlike other news, or even really all news, sports news is usually 99% of the time expected. Usually, like you expect like a Juan Soto signing, you expect it to happen like tonight. You maybe not always a team, whatever, you get the point. When this is unexpected, like first of all, Carlos Carrasco, unexpected, but it's Carlos Carrasco. We're not going to make it. It's Carlos Carrasco, minor league deal, so what? I mean, he stinks, but we'll leave it there. But when it's at that level of the top at the level that it was, it's just world spinning around. It's crazy.
It was transcending
to the point where you don't think these tweets are fake, but everyone was like, "This can't be real." Like,
as a Mavs fan, I was hoping that yesterday, whenever Nico Harrison came out and did his press conference, that Luka was going to be standing right next to him and it was going to be some big prank. That's literally the more realistic thing that I thought of. Than that you could actually legitimately tell me that trading Luka Doncic is a good move.
7.7 and 100.1. Watch live on QSportsTalk.com. Tomorrow's broadcasting stars today. Broadcasting live from the campus of Syracuse University. This is Newhouse Afternoon.
Newhouse Afternoon. Dan Papillo, Josh Rajanoff, Jacob K with you on QSportsTalk.com, ESPN 97.7. We're live in the Sports Media Center in Newhouse. The weather is actually fine out today. It was cold this weekend. We have in just a couple seconds, John Buck, Long Island Lutheran High School head coach of Kyan Anthony, is live on the line, ready for us. John, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you today?
We're doing excellent. So let's start off hot here. Kyan Anthony, people in Syracuse, we're all so excited to have him here after basketball has not been great. So there's a lot of pressure on Kyan. But I want to start with this. What does he bring to the team?
Kyan has a great presence as a person. When we started our year, we had a lot of big plans for him being a key member of this team, and he actually had an injury during our first game. And while he was out, not only did we miss his skill and his scoring, but we missed his presence. He's a really intelligent, kind of like charismatic person. And so without him on the floor, we kind of missed a lot of that energy that he brought. So obviously he's super skilled. He's, got just a natural touch, finding ways to score the ball. He's more athletic than a lot of people maybe give him credit for in terms of his just ability to move smoothly and find little ways to be where the ball is going. But his presence, just his, the way he is as a person, is something that really is something I enjoy about coaching him.
Hey, John, thanks for taking the time to talk with us today. You mentioned a lot about his personality and what he can bring. On the court, obviously, we know what he can bring, but off the court, what's his personality like? What does he bring to the locker room? And any stories from maybe this season earlier on, Kyan, that you could share with us about his personality off the floor?
Yeah, he's witty. Sometimes my mind's moving 1,000 miles an hour, and I'm kind of making jokes that'll go over a lot of people's heads, but I'll take a look, and he's kind of smiling, and he's getting it. He's a great teammate. He's well-liked by his teammates. He's someone that people like to be around. He roots for other people's success. When he was hurt, he was really engaged in supporting his teammates and cheering us on while he was out. So he's just, a positive person. He's obviously knows that a lot of eyes are on him, but he's humble, and he's not kind of afraid of that attention, but it doesn't get to his head in terms of him thinking, he's better than other people, or thinking that he doesn't have to work hard. He's really just a down-to-earth person.
Hey, Coach, Dan here. Thanks so much for taking the time. We're talking a lot about Kyan and his journey to Syracuse coming next year, and obviously there's so much pressure around here, especially, the way things have been for Syracuse basketball, now bringing in the son of a Syracuse basketball legend. I'll put it to you straight up. Do you think he can fill those shoes?
He's going to fill the shoes that Kyan Anthony is meant to fill. Basketball is different in college, even 5 years ago, let alone when his father and I are the same age. I was actually a walk-on at Wake Forest University when I was a freshman the same year Carmelo was when he was at Syracuse. We have a mutual friend, Chris Paul, that kind of was a cool connection before Kyan started playing with me. And so I think back to the time when Carmelo was a freshman and what college basketball was like then. I would say it's tremendously different now. Coaches have a much harder job in terms of building program and cohesiveness and culture. And I would say college basketball has gotten so much older with the transfer portal. And, I think Kyan is going to add tremendous value to the Syracuse program. He's a tremendous player. He's really, really, talented. Our team is undefeated with him in the lineup. Early in the season without him, we faced some tough teams and we took a couple losses. So he's really been a key part of our team in bringing us back to, I think we'll probably be right around the top 5 or 6 national in this week's poll. And I think he's going to really elevate the Syracuse program. The timelines, the, rates of production, I don't want to put constraints or expectations around that because, again, college basketball is a unique and special game, especially compared to 20 years ago. But trust me, Syracuse should be very happy that he's coming there. And I would just say, like every, player, take it day by day. Let him continue to grow. He's still 17 years old. He's continuing to grow, get stronger, learn, little nuances. So, he's going to be a big impact. Just take it day by day.
So the jump from obviously high school to college is huge. How will he handle that transition?
With the support of tremendous people. His father is an incredible resource in terms of knowing what it takes to be great. And, his dad has put him, in the hands of people that have really, I think, tried to, push him, hold him accountable, help him continue to grow. And so he's going to handle that, with the support of the Syracuse coaching staff, with, his family support, with our continued support here at Lehigh. Obviously, we won't be anywhere near his day-to-day with him, but, we're going to be cheering him on. He's got a family here. And, I think just knowing that he just needs to keep putting in daily drops, get 1% better every day. As I said, you can't, inject 5 years of development into a 17-year-old overnight. But, just staying in the weight room, staying, watching film, staying in the gym. He loves to get better. He loves that process. And so he's just going to develop day by day.
Kind of bouncing off of that, I mean, where do you draw the line right now with Kyan in high school? His dad is such a big resource, like you said. How do you draw that line where you say, hey, you have your dad as Carmelo Anthony, but I'm your coach. I was a walk-on at Wake Forest.
It's really interesting. It was something I kind of wondered what it would look like, when Kyan came here. And I couldn't have asked for more. Carmelo, I know, sees the game at an extremely high level. Obviously, Lehigh, we've been really successful here in the past couple of years. I think, we've proven that we do things really, really well. But I'm sure there's different things like any parent you watch and you see, and you might agree or disagree or want, differently. But Carmelo's been nothing but supportive. He's tried to, understand how he could echo our messages to Kyan. He's been great to work with. Honestly, again, couldn't have asked for more, and I'm really appreciative of his understanding of, the game at such an elite level, but his trust and respect of, what we do and how we've been working with Kyan. I think that partnership has led to a lot of growth for him, and I'm really, thankful for it.
Talking with John Buck, head coach of Long Island Lutheran High School, head coach of Kyan Anthony. Coach, you've coached a lot of talent, and you don't even have to go far back. You coached VJ Edgecombe last year, now at Baylor, averaging 15, 5, and 3, having an incredible season. And now you have Kyan, obviously, coming to Syracuse next year. How do those guys who are, going to play college basketball, who are NBA, potential athletes, how do those guys compare just as athletes at your high school program?
Yeah, each one's unique. It's interesting. We have, Ryan Dunn, who's now on the Phoenix Suns and just made the rookie game of All-Star Weekend, was also a player here that, was a much later bloomer. And so each one's kind of on their own unique journey. VJ is obviously a tremendously gifted and explosive athlete from the day he got here. Kyan has grown in his strength and his size kind of really steadily since his sophomore year. And I would say, people see athleticism in different ways. Obviously, a highlight reel top 10 Sports Center dunk is something that VJ is very familiar with, and just the power that he brings to the game. I think, Kyan is really smooth and able to kind of slither, navigate, find spaces in defense that other people don't see or can't kind of attack. He, has really good touch on the ball. He's, able to, stop on a dime and jump up and release his shot. So his athleticism is unique to him. And I will say that he finds ways to get it done on anyone. Doesn't matter if it's, the biggest, strongest team in the country, he'll find ways to use that kind of against them and counter it and get to his spots. He's really smart at kind of, again, getting to his spots and using, his IQ to pair with his, 6'5" going on 6'6" frame and shooting touch.
So, of course, you mentioned that you guys are undefeated with him in the lineup. But let's say after a day of practice where things aren't going great, or after a game where he's not satisfied with his performance, how does he bounce back from that to get even better?
Yeah, he's got a really good perspective of, not getting too high or low. With young players, sometimes their career time span is just a shorter window, so they can feel like a bad game is the end of the world, or, after a good game, they're untouchable. Whether it be I think a lot of credit goes to not just Carmelo, but also his mom and just Lala raising him to, just kind of take it day by day, stay humble, stay hardworking. They've really done a good job of helping him understand to be measured and, just learn from every opportunity and learn from, the good, the bad, and just keep pushing forward. So I would say he's mature in that sense.
I know, Coach, that the world of college basketball is rapidly changing with NIL and guys hitting the transfer portal very often. But the way it stands right now, how do you think Kiyan Anthony meshes with the current Syracuse squad?
It's interesting because it's like I haven't done too much research, honestly. I know, there was just each year, there's just so much changeover. So it's almost like, how much do I study? Because you don't know what next year will totally be like, right? And so, I do know that he and, Sadiq White, the other freshman, commit that plays in our league, that's at IMG right now. They've, conversed, and I can see their games meshing really well. Sadiq being, really athletic, high energy, high efficiency forward, to pair along with Kiyan. I can see that being a great tandem. And Kiyan's the type of player that can work well with other good players. On our team right now, we have, Caden Mingo going to Penn State. We have Nigel James going to Marquette. We have, big man Nico Onyekure going to Florida State. We have Dylan Mingo, one of the top 15 juniors in the country. And so he's not going to be unused to playing with high-level guys trying to fight and find ways to win. And so, he's just a guy. He's a basketball player. I think he'll mesh with other good players really well.
That's a lot of talent on a team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kidding.
That is a lot of talent. And obviously, Kiyan in the middle of that. And, I want to go back because we talked about pressure a little bit earlier. And Syracuse is a program that is desperately trying to get back to what it once was. A lot of the fans are expecting Kiyan to, sort of be the one to bring Cuse back to, whenever Carmelo was here. Just where have you kind of seen Kiyan respond to pressure, in high school, in life in general? How have you seen him, respond to adversity?
Yeah, I would say, in my time with him, when he came here, he was, a sophomore, playing with a lot like juniors and seniors on that roster. And so he had to respond to the adversity of just the physicality of practice that year. Then, he comes in, behind, in a sense, he played alongside him a lot of times, but, played with a VJ Edgecombe, a top 10 type draft pick. And, Kiyan, was really our sixth man as a junior. Some people might see that, as kind of like a unique opportunity to learn and push through some adversity. And then this year, as a senior, you have high expectations. In your first game, you go down. And, I was texting with him that night. He said, "Coach, I'm going to get back as soon as I can." Like right then and there, he was just trying to be positive. And again, while he was out, he was encouraging his teammates. He was, staying as uplifted as he could. And a lot of people would kind of go down in the tank about missing parts of their senior year. But he stayed, really measured and, excited and worked hard at his rehab to get back for us. A lot of kids might, just say, "You know what, I'm committed. I'm just going to kind of relax right now." But he wanted to fight, get back on the court, help us win, and, just play the game he loves. Kiyan loves to play basketball. So, I would say he's just, again, been raised really well, understands how to push through, tough times. And, I think he'll do just fine because we know no college athlete, goes through a perfectly smooth transition or journey.
We're talking to John Buck, head coach of the Long Island Lutheran high school team, coach of Kiyan Anthony. John, question for you here. On Kyan's transition to Syracuse, or let's say he's here right now, what would be the biggest challenge for him?
I think just with anyone, I would say, two levels, and I wouldn't say they're huge challenges, but just things that, any high school senior to college freshman, just a new environment, right? You learn just your new rhythms. Okay, where am I going to eat? Where am I, how's my bed? How's my roommates, the people I'm around? Where do I go, to get treatment? How much time do I have to allot? There's just adjustments to new rhythms and routines, which I'm sure he'll pick up on pretty quickly. And then obviously, even though, we're playing the most competitive schedule that you can in high school basketball, I think this is our most competitive schedule that we've ever put together. Inevitably, playing against 18-year-olds is not playing against 22-year-olds. Or beyond, right? And so, there will take some adjustment of time in just navigating that experience, that maturity, that physicality. But again, he's played really well in some of those most physical and high-level games on the schedule. So, just again, I would say fans just understand what it would be like for any of you coming as a 17-year-old going on 18 and then seeing, 22s, 23s. It'll take a little bit, but it won't take forever because he's really smart. He knows how to adjust, and I think he'll get there quicker than it will, be later.
Well, to answer your question, if it was me coming here, it would be a disaster. It would be a disaster.
Well, I want to wrap us up here, Coach, with one more question, a little bit more of a fun one. Me and Jacob are both Long Island guys, and we know how beautiful Long Island is, but how do you think that Kyan and the rest of the team, how do you think they really balance all the travel that would come with playing at one of the top basketball schools in the country?
Yeah, he's getting used to it this year. The travel we do as part of the Nike UIBL Scholastic League and other non-league games it's aggressive. We just got back last weekend from, a trip where we went to Western Maryland and played, almost on the border of Virginia Friday night. Drove the next morning over to, the Baltimore area, played Paul VI, one of the better teams in the area in the country on Saturday, traveled back up. Now we're heading down on Thursday to play in Richmond, Virginia on a great game on Friday night. So, the amount of travel I don't think is going to be a shock. It is work. It is work to find try to find your rest, take care of your body, stretch, hydrate, eat right. It's a process to make sure you're able to, travel around and navigate all of that. But I think he's, getting used to it. He's been used to it for the last couple of years. And, it definitely is another reason to, I would just say, two things can be true at once. I think fan bases can have high expectations and demand excellence, and then also have some level of empathy for just the challenges of what coaches and players are navigating right now. And I think in this world where we struggle sometimes to see multiple perspectives, I think those two things can be true at once. I think Syracuse can demand excellence of its program, and then also kind of try to have, that level of balance and knowing that these guys are pushing and fighting through a lot. And I think the future is bright for the Orange.
Future is definitely bright. Thank you so much, Coach John Buck of Long Island Lutheran High School basketball, head coach of Kyan Anthony. Coach, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, this was great. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you. There goes John Buck. Thank you for joining us. When we come back, we'll have just a few more moments with you, and we're going to talk about one of the moves that might have shut down the entire sports world. Up next, Newhouse Afternoon.
Hey, this is former Syracuse basketball player.
What a great interview.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's sweet.
Throw that in there and answer his question. I can't leave him unanswered. Yes, that's the question of the fact that
appreciate it.
It would not be well if,
I'm mad at myself.
So is there a time, okay, so should we stop at 2 minutes late? Is there a time we should stop, or it doesn't? Yeah.
Oh, I have thoughts.
Did we get the ad read in?
I just remember that, yeah.
I was going to say, can I open the blog?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I'm going to open this kind of similar to how we open the podcast.
Oh, no. No, because I want to stay impartial.
You have to embrace being a Mavericks fan.
You want to stay impartial? That we don't do that here.
Yeah, I forgot.
I was going to say.
We don't do that.
Any Mavs fans in the chat that want to
There's no way.
share their
I'd be very
pain
impressed.
with me?
One of my I got to reach out to one of my friends.
I mean, in the span of 1 week, you got Brian Schottenheimer and Luka. What a disaster. Oh.
Dallas Sports is...
What do you think about the Jets getting Glenn?
He's going to be fine. I mean, the Jets are the Jets, though, so we can never forget that.
Oh, come on. Let me have faith one time.
You have faith. I never said you can't have faith. I just said...
we sold our
Jets.
soul for one World Series in Dallas.
We sold our soul for a Super Bowl in 1969. Namath made the deal with the devil. Come on now.
And we got Carlos Carrasco.
Oh, come on.
Oh, well, we have a Mavs fan in the chat. Ironically enough, though, it's the same last name as Mr. Radjanov.
Oh, how did that happen? Well, I'm sorry, D. Radjanov in the chat. Yeah, it sucks.
Oh, Pacoda.
Huh?
What?
The Pacoda standings are released today. Wow. Yanks projected the Pacoda projections, baseball projections.
Oh,
This is baseball.
I saw the Mets have 89 wins.
88.9.
What's the Rangers at? I'm curious.
Guess.
87.5.
89.3.
All right.
Yanks are at 89.7.
Say the Rangers being better than the Mets, barely.
We will be.
Rangers,
That's a crazy statement.
They have Dodgers at
Wanna
10.
go?
They have Dodgers at
No,
103.8.
stay
Oh
impartial.
my God.
What do you? We're on the break right now. No, the Rangers will be better than the Mets this year.
They have the Dodgers at 104 wins.
That's it?
Dodgers gonna break the record.
Free over.
Oh wait, no, we have a Dodgers fan in the chat too. That's a bad person to provoke.
They gave the Dodgers a 21% chance to make the World Series or to win the World Series. Oh my God.
We'll debate at another time why the Rangers will be better than the Mets this year.
Sure.
Go on the Suffering Sports podcast.
Yeah, shout out.
Shout out. Shameless plug.
Highly recommend listening to our emergency episode that came out yesterday.
Well, I listened to it.
You did?
You did.
You guys do realize I do. You don't know. I do my homework.
On us?
Everybody. There's not a day that
Did
goes.
you listen to our podcast before you knew about us? Like before we have ever gone on air, did you listen to Dan and I's podcast?
The second he saw the assignment sheet, he's like, who are these guys?
By the way, one of these days we'll get you on. We'll have you for a Yankees bit or something like that.
Yeah, when they. Well,
It's a tough job.
I had a dream a few weeks ago.
Oh.
Actually, a nightmare. Aaron Judge turned to Joey Gallo.
It's not a crazy statement. It could very much happen at
very
some point in
true.
his career.
Yep. This season.
Press conference for Luka will be on Tuesday.
Tomorrow.
Oh, and Pat Ragazzo just tweeted out Anthony Rizzo could make sense as a backup plan for the Mets.
Your favorite ESPN Syracuse sports talk shows on QSportsTalk.com. Tomorrow's broadcasting stars today, broadcasting live from the campus of Syracuse University. This is Newhouse Afternoon.
Welcome back into Newhouse Afternoon. Wrapping up shop here on our hour. Dan Papillo, Josh Radjanov, Jacob K here with you. This hour of Newhouse Afternoon is powered by Drivers Village Cicero. Go to dvoffers.com for more information. And guys, we have to open up the floor here. This is a therapy session. This is a safe space. We only listen here. We do not judge. Josh is a huge Dallas Mavericks fan. And if you haven't heard over the weekend, you've been living under a rock somehow. Luka Doncic was traded by the Dallas Mavericks to the Los Angeles Lakers for a package that was centered
chips.
by Anthony Davis. So we are going to take a step back here, and we are going to let you voice your mind. Okay? You got to stay civil. There's a lot of people listening.
I'm staying civil. I'm very upset is what I'll say. As a Mavs fan, boy, am I upset. What a move that happened on Saturday, late Saturday evening, early Sunday morning, really. Shocked the sports world. Not many moves you see not many announcements that happen where you're questioning an NBA insider being hacked on Twitter. Luka Doncic being traded is one of those moves that literally, as we mentioned, turns the sports world upside down. Luka goes to LA, gets traded for Anthony Davis and Max Christie, along with Luka goes with a couple of other Maverick teammate role players. Yeah, it's not a good move. I've looked at this for the past 48 hours, however long it's been since Luka Doncic is officially not a Maverick anymore, and it still hurts to say. And I don't see how you can justify this as a good move. Nico Harrison, Mavericks GM, said that defense and conditioning wins championships, and that was the big reason that he brought AD on at the expense of Luka Doncic. You don't trade a top 3 player in the league.
I don't disagree.
You don't trade a top 3 player in the league, especially considering that he did not ask out.
You might kill me.
I'll debate you. Let's go.
I don't think Dallas is going to be that. First of all,
no, it's not about that.
You've been, but you're making it about that.
No, but it's not about that.
But you're making it. I
don't care if the Mavs win the NBA Finals this year. You do it. It's Luka Doncic is a generational player. With this move, you're basically saying, all right, we're gonna win. We're hoping that we're gonna win now.
He's a bit of a diva, though. He's not a diva. Gained some weight.
He's not a diva.
He is with the foul trouble. The refs. That was the story last year at the finals.
Of course, it was part of the story, but the whole reason that they were there was because of him.
Yeah, obviously.
Kyrie's not good enough to be a 1 anymore. I think it showed in Boston. It showed in Brooklyn. Kyrie was never really the one anywhere he's been, other than Boston for a few years, and it really didn't work out. Kyrie's not good enough to be a 1 anymore. As much as I love Anthony Davis, and I've always wanted Anthony Davis to be a Mav, not at this expense, he's not going to carry your team into the finals like the way that Luka does. You can't justify this move. The Mavs aren't really... First off, team morale is so low because as much as you can even say, all right, maybe the Mavs roster did theoretically get better because of this move, the locker room isn't. You lose one of your best locker room guys. Luka loved all of those guys on the Mavericks team. Kyrie loved Luka. The whole reason you brought Kyrie to Dallas was because you wanted to get Luka a second star. Kyrie wasn't on the bench in yesterday's game against the Cavs. He has not spoken. He has not been seen. He has not been heard. I honestly think that he might get traded before Thursday. And if he doesn't get traded, he's definitely gone after this season because he has a player option. You look at the vibe of the bench, of the locker room. You saw Jason Kidd yesterday sitting next to Nico Harrison during that press conference, and he looked ticked off.
Here's the thing. I think the Lakers, which is weird, they wanted Davis. They wanted Anthony Davis, which is interesting because you could have gotten way more from other teams. Like, we don't need to argue about that. That's clear as day and night. But the Dallas, they wanted him gone. They did, which is so weird.
It's not they. It is not they. It is just Nico Harrison. That's the thing. And it was ownership. Nico Harrison and Mavericks ownership.
But that's
and it was
they.
A very,
that's
no,
they.
It's a
that's
very
they.
small group. I've heard reports all weekend long that it was just Nico and it was just the main Mavericks ownership, that most of the business side, most of the ops side,
but that's
don't agree
they.
with the move.
The main, you said the main. That's they. That's who
Mavericks,
decides. That's who decides.
That's the unfortunate truth about it.
It sucks. I know, but that's who decided. That's who made the call.
And Nico Harrison shouldn't have a job. He
said at a press conference, I believe, listening to the audio this morning, he said that if this happens to if this makes him lose his job, it doesn't work out, then that's what'll happen.
My last point I make is you can't justify it. You cannot justify this move, no matter who it is. I don't care if he's out of shape. I don't care if he's a diva. You do whatever you want because he's a top 3 player in the league, and also he's not a diva. He's a top 3 player in the league. You don't trade that away, no matter what. That's my last thought.
Well said.
I was going to say, I didn't have to say a whole lot because you kind of just read everybo's mind.
Don't trade a top 3 player. It's not that hard.
Fair enough.
You did, and he's gone. So now I'm sad.
I think the return makes you more. It's hard to admit it. I can't really get in your shoes. I'm trying, but it's hard.
It's like you traded away Aaron Judge.
But not even. It's because it's.
I would say that's pretty comparable.
No, as if it's different.
Top player in the league, homegrown. You grew a relationship with him as a fan, and then you just trade him away without even asking out.
His nickname's Mr. May. I don't care. Postseason doesn't show up.
Oh, come on.
Okay.
I know we have 10 seconds.
That's it for today.
You're telling me that you would trade Aaron
Never
Judge
said that.
because
I never said that. Okay. We got to get out of here. In 2 weeks when we're back, we'll be baseball players, pitchers, and catchers. We'll be there, and we'll have the show is going to go off the rails. But that's it today for Jacob K, Dan Papillo, Josh Radjanov. For Newhouse Afternoon on QSportsTalk.com, ESPN 97.7, the 315 with Brian Higgins is on at 4 o'clock. Stay tuned.
The Sports Show with Cody Mack.
It is the